Did you do it?
Yes.
What did it cost?
Everything.
Not to be the one to take all of the credit, but considering the contents of my Mave rant and in the passing of time the complete reverts of the nerfs made to Cat Burglar, I feel I can at least say I fucking told you so. However, this rant, unlike my others, is going to be more of me explaining what I believe is a basic concept the active developers of a PvP team-based shooter should understand as is the bare minimum, instead of me just painting the painfully fucking obvious. Makoa is today's topic of conversation, and I believe is a wonderful character. He is easily one of the most well-designed characters in any hero shooter, which is elevated even higher as his archetype is completely fucking terrible in another game. Oh, you're wondering how this cunt climbed to the top of a map like a Los Angeles Korean in 1992?
Yeah, I'm fucking sniping her ass. Where'd she go? She's run off. She's scared. She's scared of my Makoa expertise. Yo, take this. Take this, Makoa.
Well, I guess I should explain how you're able to do whatever the hell this is. So it all starts here, the title surge patch. This patch gave Makoa a few buffs to his ultimate, something that he has desperately needed for multiple years as it's been easily one of the worst ultimates in the game. And some of these changes are actually quite good. Increasing the bonus health by 1500 when all that was asked was 1000 is quite a nice touch. It's a pretty good decision as the ultimate's so fucking weak that making it slightly stronger than what it used to be is a good thing. However, that's where all the good ends. They also gave him 50% headshot reduction, which you might be confused at my displeasure in this as it's another awesome buff to Makoa. Fuck you and fuck your headshot reduction, and I'll explain why. But lastly, they only slightly buffed his damage. If you can't tell by the tone of my voice, I think these changes are bad, like a lot of things. So why are these changes bad? Or if I truly wanted to give any positive feedback, the bare fucking minimum. Well, how about we just take the time to talk about the design of Makoa ult and to lay some groundwork as this probably is desperately needed for this conversation to be even had. Makoa ult is actually quite simple. You get a lot of fucking HP at the press of a button and your primary becomes a melee attack while losing access to your core survivability and means of damage mitigation. This can only mean one thing, that its purpose is to take a slower character in terms of gameplay and pace and make him walk at people. Actually, you know what? Here, let's make a shitty visual representation of what Makoa does and what his ultimate does. This circle around Makoa is the space he can actively contest normally, while this is the space he passively contests via his ability Dredge Anchor. As you can see, these are practically the same. The pressure from Makoa comes from two things, his health and survivability as he is a tank after all, and then his damage. Every character in the game pressures space based off these aspects, but Makoa is weak at this. His damage is slow and has harsh fall off, and is especially as of right now, not all that strong. Dredge Anchor, however, makes up for this lack drastically, as its entire purpose is to fucking yank people by the ankles directly into him where he's most effective and scary. However, its pressure is passive in a pressure rotation, aka a cooldown, as this pressure is what predominantly counts as Makoa's kill threat. The pressure from his hook all depends on if it hits. If it doesn't, you aren't out of position, you don't need to put resources into a trade, and the Makoa is down his most valuable one. This is why the pressure is passive. The thought of being hooked is scary, but it's only effective, again, if the player hits it. It is a skill shot. So without going into excruciating detail on how Makoa plays at his base, outside of the note that he plays slow due to the pressure cycle from his hook and his weak damage without it, his survivability, which is only good if the distance is kept, and, well, decent self-peel. Let me finally explain his ultimate. The pressure from hooks still exists, but what you'll find is that the space he actively contests is really fucking small.
Ooh, that's kind of small. Yikes.
His ult is a melee form swap. He has no range, but this can be made up for and is what the ult is designed to fucking do. If you give him a fuck ton of HP and make him have a 20% faster fire rate, this lets him do a few things. Take a lot of damage for one, but if you just pop this ultimate and stand on point while no one is there contesting it, you aren't really doing jack shit for a team fight, besides maybe stalling. There is no reason for the enemy to shoot you, as you aren't a threat. So how do you become a threat? Walk! Get in their face and beat them to death. That's how. That is what the ult is meant to do. It is designed and meant for the person on Makoa to get in people's face, practically not die, and beat the ever-living shit out of them. This is why he asked you why you would ever even challenge him. Now, all this goes out the fucking window if you do one of two things. Make his melee damage shit, or make him not able to survive long enough to dish it out. Well, both of these were decided on nearly 5 fucking years ago when the devs decided to make him deal 550 damage a hit and took away a few thousand health. This neuters the effectiveness of his ultimate, and so its best use became a slight fucking stall or a quick, yeah, I'm not actually dying, to quickly cancel the ultimate after healing yourself and getting your shitty shield and ranged damage back, because walking was something you just flat out die trying to do. Makoa ult is shit. It needs to be brought back to the exact same power level as it used to. This is why these buffs aren't fucking good. The damage is finally not a self-inferior damage output because the devs didn't even fucking care to change the ult's damage after giving his primary a 25 damage buff, because that's going to do fucking something.
You serious?
But it's still not nearly enough damage for fucks to be scared of you. It should simply do more than not even the average DPS, as he's so absurdly limited, it makes no sense as to why you only do 600 damage a swing. Do I have to reiterate what a fucking breakpoint is or what risk reward is? You are half-assing the easiest shit and it baffles me as to fucking why. But it's time to explain why the headshot reduction is just flat out bad. What I am arguing for is more HP, not damage mitigation. There is a stark difference between the two, and I get it, this is Paladins, which takes fuck all in terms of mechanical skill, and we still have aim assist being broken to all hell. But punishing players for skilled mechanics is a bad thing. Alright, unscripted post Chica no Yumi here. As I've been editing this video, it has come to my attention that I have drastically understated how absolutely bad this fucking headshot reduction change has been. It turns out that you do less damage on a headshot than you would normally onto a body shot while he is in his ultimate. You do less damage the more mechanically gifted you are against Makoa. If this isn't enough reason to revert the change, then I don't know what will be. So yeah, anyways, back to the video. Could Makoa get beamed to all hell if a Hitscan player was shooting his massive fucking head? Yes. Is that a bad thing? No. It's called Counterplay, something that his ultimate has very little of, as is completely CC immune and is designed for the mere intent of, again, getting close and beating the shit out of you. A developer should know how to acknowledge this fact, but considering this is fucking Paladins, they obviously don't understand the concept of rewarding skill play and outright fucking punish shit.
Honestly, we could probably just 1v1. You might be able to get a better clip. Like, have it happen naturally.
I'm still sitting here recording, so.
Yeah, we are both lost. The fuck?
Oh my, dude, I just got it! Bro, it's so dumb! It's so dumb! Is there a reason given for this change exactly? No. But I, however, have to do what they can't and acknowledge the reason. Oh, God. Deep breaths, Eco. Deep breaths. Remember, the devs need constructive feedback. I can't be toxic because their feelings matter, even though they have given me no reason to care. So let's sugarcoat what we're saying, because I'm daring to not suckle their balls or lack thereof. Nah, who am I fucking kidding? This shit is retarded and the devs lack intelligence. I mean, it's not surprising because I know damn well who probably thought this idea was even remotely good. I guess living a lie makes lying pretty fucking easy to do, but yeah, this is a pretty good fucking lie right here. And I absolutely would fucking dare challenge him, as the game can't fucking handle random increases of size, forcing collision boxes into the goddamn terrain, making the character who's still somehow smaller than Betty La fucking Bamba unable to move. Yeah, I would challenge the character who's turning himself into the easiest target to hit in the fucking game, who still doesn't do enough damage for me to give a rat's ass. Fucking bravo. What a silly little joke this one here is. This, by the way, is the only reason this shit was even given to the character. It's crazy how many bad decisions are just compiled onto the character because of this. Even Kanye is more intelligent with his brain melting off of nitrous than this change. I mean, maybe I'm shooting down a wonderful idea that I personally just can't grasp. Maybe the fact that this breaks the game and I've been told not to ult near walls to not get stuck because of this change is maybe just a small little hiccup. Even though the impact on gameplay is so obviously negative that we have to punish the player for skill restriction, there might be a positive if I really just give it a chance. Makoa has fallen a bit to the wayside compared to the rest of Frontlines, and while his core kit feels good, he's lost a bit of impact. Ancient Rage will now be an ultimate that can let him block more damage for his teammates, allowing for another tool in objective fights. This also serves as a noticeable buff to the effectiveness of Leviathan for those who leverage every activation. Dear fucking God. First, ignore this part. We will talk about this in a little bit. This is the reason given. This is the reason given as to why they gave him more HP. This is the reason given as to justify only 1/3 of the buffs that people have been begging for the character to receive, while tagging on all this extra shitty baggage to block more damage for his teammates. Basically, he is supposed to get in chokes and get everything thrown at him. This idea is just fucking retarded. Oh my God. Makoa is already massive, first off. Second of all, this doesn't feel good. And I'm not just talking about the fact that you constantly get lodged into walls and can't navigate half the maps because this shit is just that stupid, but being massive to simply be the only thing to be shot doesn't feel good on the player side. But from a design perspective, this again is just fucking retarded. This reason, quote unquote, because I have to even entertain it, is the devs trying to say they want Makoa ult to be a form of utility or peel for your backline. This makes not a lick of fucking sense. I know some smart ass is saying, but he's an off-tank, that's what they do, because I know the devs lack the understanding to even conjure that excuse. Peeling a teammate can be done by literally anyone. Off-tanks do it most commonly because they have self-peel tools themselves that already do this part. Makoa already has a massive fucking shield to peel teammates if he so chooses, and this is the most common use for the ability half the time already.
W shield, no?
Oh, I need to use my ultimate. I need to use my ultimate there. But let's go into his ult itself. It's not designed to be a tool to block damage for your teammates. Again, he already fucking has that. It's designed for the exact opposite. His ult, as I've explained, is there to make him walk and beat the shit out of people like my drunken father. You know what the big scary turtle does naturally when he's given lots of HP and theoretical damage and walks forward at a team with little to no fear? He gets focused. Why does he get focused? Well, because he just popped his fucking ultimate, and if he gets close enough or pulls you in close enough, it's considered a kill threat. This means just by the mere existence of his ultimate that he will tank damage for his team. It organically happens already because of the psychological pressure his sheer dominance holds over a player. So this change means nothing. It's fucking nothing. It's outright retarded. It is a bad idea. This should have been shot down. And no. Just no. Being able to scale up only certain walls is not a bonus as I would normally make it out to be. It is pretty funny, yes, I will admit, but this upside is unironically incredibly small one as opposed to all the mere piles of cow shit that I'm just not going to dive into, especially the devs are actively looking for a fix for this. That fix would remove this tiny fucking upside, leaving only the pile of cow shit. The devs know how fucking bad this change is, which is surprising, but they are going to still defend this ult being impossible to use, being aware how buggy this shit is for the only reason that they are keeping it in the game. You see, this bit, it's just so fucking retarded that the devs, I'd hope, would try to give another fucking reason behind it. But, nah. The reason is because they like it and they find it fucking funny. I just love how such a game-breaking, fucking shitty and flat-out idiotic change that only exists as in their eyes justification for bringing Makoa even remotely close to his old power level is kept because the devs like the theming. Because growing to tank more damage is such a cool idea, am I right? Wait. Actually, are they onto something? If the way to make beloved tanks that people like good again is to simply make them bigger. Oh my god. Hear me out. We give Inara 50% DR again, and make her grow 25% while using Earthing Guard and say so she can tank more damage for her team. Wait, no, we can take this further. Make Barrick 50% larger while using rocket boots so we can give him back old bowling ball so he can take more damage for his team. No, not just that. Make his turrets 50% larger and give him back old healing stations so the turrets can take more damage for his team.
I gotta say, Sokka, you continue to impress me with your ideas.
Bro, why am I not a game dev? I have such a brilliant creative mind. Fuck! I'm going to go back and talk about this. This video is a Makoa rant, not a Makoa ult rant. And it's because I want to talk about how incredibly shit balance around this character has been. He has been done so dirty, and I'm beyond tired of the shitty handling of this character. 2 times now, the devs have stated that Makoa is struggling compared to other frontlines. However, the devs have not a single clue as to why. From what I can tell, as is the only shit that's ever been changed on the character significantly, has been his survivability and or util in some form or fashion with constant meddling with half shell. I know this might come as a shocker, but no one fucking likes half shell. It's not fun to play, and having to go against constant shield spam isn't fucking fun. Makoa doesn't struggle with tanking or protecting his team. As I've established, if he uses the tools correctly, he can do tons of shit with just his shell. His shield is not and should not be the centerpiece of the character. It's basically meant more of as a backup CD if you fuck up somewhere else in his gameplay loop. And so what is the reason Makoa is falling behind other characters, especially other off tanks? That is because Makoa is not a kill threat. In layman's terms, Makoa does no fucking damage. You might think I'm over exaggerating, but no, seriously, compared to other tanks, Makoa's damage fucking sucks. Every tank besides Ashe and Yag does more damage than Makoa when they are at their most effective. I'm saying this with an asterisk so people don't spell shit like, but Makoa is burst damage and or the con is fall off stick. I'm well aware. My point though is that even fucking Rom does more DPS than him. The closest equivalent to Makoa's damage would be Azan, who on the average 2200 HP target has a TTK that is slower than Makoa's by 0.1 seconds due to how absurdly long the fire delay is between the final swing and the start of a new attack chain, which lets people get out of cauterize, but you know, whatever, we're not going to fix that ever. Anyways, the reason I bring up this comparison is to simply paint a picture. Azan, which we might all know is designed to be broken. This I actually personally believe is a good thing outside of a few nickels I have with Ire. But why is Azan broken, and why do I say he actually does damage when even with Ire he has the same average base TTK as Makoa? That's because Azan's entire shtick is doing fucking teching combos. With Ire, which is not hard to get, Azan's Reckoning and Conviction both do enough damage to hit breakpoints. These cooldowns can be used in between his attack chains with no effect on said attack chain to easily reduce his TTK. This is disregarding Tempering, which makes Reckoning do way more fucking damage, which makes sure breakpoints are, well, broken. If you really wanted to, you could kill someone in about 2.5 seconds if you really wanted to commit both CDs. Have I mentioned that these are both hard CC yet? Oh, yeah, Reckoning is stupidly fucking strong, being easy as fuck to hit and instantly stopping any and all means of enemy self-heal while leaving the player unable to move. And yeah, it might be buggy, but the fact that he can use his dash to also stun a player is quite absurd, which, by the way, can also be used to interrupt any player's skill if you happen to just hit the dash and knock the player into a wall or somehow his. What the fuck does Makoa have on any of this? Azan has way more effective HP, which is just gained by being shot, which increases all his damage by 12%, which helps with breakpoints at base, than some of the best abilities in the game. Fucking Hook? Really? That's where we're going to base all of this character's skill potential off of. A much harder to hit skill shot that deals only 100 damage and is simply meant to pull someone in for a follow-up shot. Fucking Shell Spin? Okay, so after it hits, I still need to hit another shot, and last I checked, Shell Spin doesn't fucking stun, so that's wonderful. I love how the entire shitty combo on Makoa does only 2,325 after I committed all my fucking cooldowns. Just run pluck, screams the retard, acting like that actually means something. Yes, running the fucking talent that's meant to kill things faster keeps me in an engagement lasting roughly 3 fucking seconds, where in that time the person I've hit and hooked has already been healed, has used their mobility to escape, and lives. And if I use my fucking Shell Spin to follow up, I'm literally wasting my fucking self-heal for the mere chance to kill something. Look, I get it. Hook is a really strong ability. I'm not even going to fucking deny that. But it's not exactly scary in this day and age of the shitty game where the supports are now the ones buying Rejuve. Healing is still absurd. In Vet Haven, fuck. I mean, armor plating is still the best shit to buy. Makoa doesn't kill anything, and he doesn't do fucking damage. Not to mention his ult takes forever to charge because of this, so it's just all around worse. Makoa is not good. Just because you hit a hook and your sky decides to melt the person you hooked does not make Makoa strong. That makes Hook strong, as it should be. Who would have fucking guessed focus fire on squishy targets directly on top of your team would make that person explode? Maybe people should do this more often. But it's not an argument to say Makoa is good because of this. No, he can't do shit on his own, and he doesn't compete with other fucking tanks that have their own broken shit that is way more scary. Makoa's design is one the player is supposed to be scared of. If you don't respect Hook and you don't respect his ult, you should fucking die. But he does it and can't do either. The reason you were scared of Hook is because he did fucking damage. The reason you were scared of his ult is because he had tons of HP and did fucking damage. Tanks are meant to have these cycles of intense pressure, because how else are they going to make or maintain space, as that's literally what the role is meant to do. Makoa does not have that, and that's why he fucking sucks. Oh no, if we buff these things that take skill on the character, players that are skilled enough to fucking hit them consistently or use them correctly would dominate. Fucking yes! Exactly! That's exactly what would happen, and that's exactly what should happen. I'm also well aware what would happen if we just buffed his damage to 650. I'm also well aware with nothing else how oppressive this number would be for the wrong reasons. Makoa shouldn't be able to outhook whatever the fuck he wants, alright? He is supposed to be reliant on the fact his hook exists and is meant to pull people into his damage. So, revert him back to his prior state, aka change his effective range and increase his falloff back to what it used to be. With all of this said, and all of this shit accounted for, my question is, why the fuck aren't we letting him have 650 damage with only 4 shots? Why the fuck does it need to be the biggest pile of shit to do fuck all? Why are other tanks allowed so much more? Why does Lilith have what Makoa should? The answer is because the devs are clueless to the balance of the game, as contradictions on what is allowed for some characters but not for others are abundant, which is fucking painful to be aware of when characters who should have what others have are just fucking bullshit. In so many ways, it's just impossible to comprehend how shit like this even happens unless you don't fucking play the game you're developing. And Makoa is a perfect example of the devs not being aware of what they ought to know and do. Look, buffing cards to give him a sustain not fucking earned is not the play for him, and well, any character for that matter. Congratulations, you buffed his cards. Something that should be done across the fucking board for every character. You're not breaking any new ground for Makoa. Makoa needs to have the agency to kill shit on his own. That means giving him the damage to do so. Plenty of other tanks have it. Makoa's design and viability utterly relies on having it. Oh no, if you don't respect Hook, and if the player hits the skill shot, the player might die because he would still do less damage than half the other good tanks. It is the easiest fucking number change ever, and that's all the characters ever fucking needed. So what, you might have to change Plug? I guess you have to put resources into something that actually matters to your player base instead of fucking dicking around and doing shit no one asked for and it failing spectacularly. And for fuck's sake, stop this shit with his ultimate. The theming, aka the joke, doesn't fit and fucking breaks the game. He doesn't need to block damage for his team with it, and as he is plenty capable of doing that with his kit already. I don't know how many times. How do you overlook the fact that he has a giant shield? He blocks damage for his team by merely using his ultimate and walking at a team. God, why do I need to explain this? You've done one thing right. Maybe do one last thing right with his ult and there wouldn't be any need to punish player skill. You know what? Here, let me just make y'all the next balance patch from Makoa. It's this easy, and it's never been fucking easier. Whatever. I might rant about something else soon. I mean, these character-specific rants are cool and all, but the game needs more help with the not-so-simple part. I want to let the devs know, if they somehow see this, that I don't really hate this most recent patch. I was wrong about a fair bit, and the steps to improve the game in some areas are at least happening. There was an attempt. That's all I'll say on that part. But this game is so far from even half decent, and Makoa is much, much farther. So please, stop being silly. Let him be good, as there is counterplay to the character, and he takes skill, and he's not nearly as good as other characters, and stop making him so damn complicated and doing simply stupid things. Thanks. Jesus Christ, this fucking script sucks. Anyways, it's time for me and y'all to piss off.